So it was like you left her when you were ready to let go. And that's not fair. Hence the reason why I ain't mad at Claudette for running through them goddamn pockets. Okay. Then on April Fool's Day, 1984, the news came in. It was a cold shock, a kick in the groin. I heard it on the radio. Dad was dead, killed by his father. Now I was moving in the same direction. Why couldn't I stop myself? Why couldn't I turn it around? My days were dark, my nights filled with fear. Someone brought over a videotape, said it would make me feel better. Motown 25, one of the greatest nights of my life. One of the greatest nights of my life too, Smokey. Everyone had come home for the TV special, even those who'd been bitching and moaning for years. It was the ultimate tribute to Barry Gordy, and I loved every minute of it. Wait a minute, hold. I know you niggas not trying to tell me that Smokey the Robinson was on the cracky, or the crack cigarettes, or the rock cigarettes during Motown 25. Tops, Temps, Miracles, Marvelettes, Martha and Mary and Diana and Dennis and Marvin and Michael and Jermaine, Pride and Joy and Jimmy Mack and My Guy and My Girl and Baby Love and Reach Out and Cloud Nine. Every writer and every producer, every who'd been touched by Barry came back to say, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Suddenly, I saw the Hitsville house again. All of us together, stomping in the studio, playing ball on the lawn, poker in the back room, company picnics in cabins in the woods, Monday morning meetings, me and the Miracles on the road, Claudette snuggling up next to me. Another coke-soaked cigarette, another good cry, another call to my man for another rock. The knock on the door was loud and persistent. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Then I got scared. Maybe it was the cops, maybe a killer. Fear was all up in my face. Open the door. Open the door, man. Open it now. I knew Leon Kennedy's voice. I let him in. Smoke, he said. You look like shiz. What the heck are you doing to yourself, man? Why do you want to die? Coke got you so disgusted with yourself. You can't stop. Can't you see the vicious cycle? Get off my ass, Leon. You don't know what you're talking about. I lied. Dopers always lie to cover up. I didn't tell him about the stomach pains, the pus passing out of my body, the heart palpitations, the cold sweats. Yup, sound like the quack. The quack cigarettes. You look like a ghost, Smoke. Your skin's turning green. Your eyes are all sunken into your head. You're wasting away to nothing. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm doing fine. Man, just leave me alone. No, I'm not leaving at all. I'm staying here, and I'm praying for you. I don't care how long it takes. Leon stayed and prayed for me all night. He prayed till the sun came up. He wouldn't leave me. He stayed at my house all the next day and that night insisted that we go to a place called Ablaze Ministry. That Ablaze Ministry was led by a woman called Jean Perez. That church changed his life. Since the night that he was first introduced to the Ablaze Church, 3 years had passed and he hadn't smoked a quack cigarette. Since that night, it's been 3 years. I haven't touched or wanted any form of any drug, just like that. The desire left. Being in show business, I'm always around this stuff. There have been endless opportunities to get high. Miraculously, I've not been tempted. The Lord washed me clean. After 2 years of living in a fog, being clear-minded was a beautiful blessing. I could see things that were once blurs. I saw that despite my enormous guilt about ending my marriage, It was the righteous thing to do. Otherwise, I'd be living out of the rest of my days as a hypocrite. I couldn't take that, and neither could Claudette. She deserved my honesty, and I had honestly lost that romantic love which once bound us together. I respect it. I respect it. Let me hurt you now a little bit, then a whole hell of a lot later. This is where I want to smack Smokey Robinson in the face, because you could have made this decision years ago, not when 20, 30 years have passed and all she knows is you. So it was like you left her when you were ready to let go. And that's not fair. Here's the reason why I ain't mad at Claudette for running through them goddamn pockets. Okay. On the other hand, I told Candy that I wasn't leaving Claudette for her. Fact is, I wasn't leaving Claudette for any woman. I was losing her to find myself. Trey would be raised as my son. I'd spend time with him as I would with Barry and Tamla, but I wasn't interested in marriage at this point. Claudette also saw that once I was off drugs, I was easier to deal with and talk to. Meanwhile, she'd gotten herself back in shape, lost weight, and looked terrific again. The divorce proceedings went ahead, child. And she ran through them ninjas' pockets. I mean, hey, what you thought? I was just going to just let you just, okay, Claudette, I'm ready to let you go. Bye. Doodles. Barry and I were sitting in his den in his Bel Air estate, the same room where years before we had our nasty run-in. I'd just gotten through telling him about the Ablaze ministry, and his face was lit up with a smile big enough to frame. Man, that's terrific. And now I got some news for your ass. We're going into a whole new program with you. Your life's going to turn around, Smoke, and it's going to turn around in a hurry. I need a hit, I admitted. You need more than a hit. You need a manager, and I'm giving you the best. Mike Roshkind. I'd known Mike for years. Since the 60s, he'd been Barry's main advisor. I always saw him as a hardcore cat. But I was wrong. He turned out to be all heart, devoted himself to my career and the challenge of turning it around, as though it were a matter of life and death. Mike loves challenges. He's a doer, and what he did to my professional life was nothing short of remarkable. Within 36 months, he had me making more money than I'd ever made before, playing the prestige venues around the world. Barry helped. He came in as executive producer of my 1987 album, One Heartbeat. It was a little like the old days, with him critiquing and pushing me to my limits. Barry will never change. Even during my most recent tour, he didn't leave my Las Vegas show before redoing the light show and sound mix. The album hit big, spawning 3 hits, Just to See Her, One Heartbeat, and Love Don't Give No Reason. Okay, all right, but when did he do Ebony Eyes with Rickety James? Hold on. And I didn't hear no mention of Rickety James. Hold on. Lips soft and tender, ready to speak. Her voice says, I love you, and it's making me weak. Hey there, little girl. Okay, Rickety. Okay, so it was on the Rickety James album, and that was in 1983, and he ain't mentioned that at all. At the 1987 Grammys, after a lifetime in show business, I won my first ever. It was for singing Just to See Her, and it felt great. Felt even better when the same year Hall & Oates introduced me as an inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That night at the banquet at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City was especially trippy. I was sitting at a table with lifelong friend Cecil Franklin, who was representing Aretha. See, I got in the same time as four of my musical idols, Jackie Wilson, Clyde McPhatter, my brother Marvin Gaye, and sister Aretha. I felt them clinging so close to my heart. When I went up to accept the award, they were next to me. I felt their musical spirit, felt my gratitude was their gratitude. Thinking of my heroes, I was choked up enough, but as I stepped to the podium, the audience made up of record industry artists and execs. A tough-nosed crowd rose to their feet, applauding and then spontaneously singing my song. Ooh, baby, baby.
Baby, that's it. That's the one that got you in the inductees.
Okay. But I also heard that it was a concern because how you going to induct Smokey the Robinson and not the Miracles? Okay, but better press. God's blessings are bountiful. In the midst of my comeback, though, something else was happening that excited rumors of all sorts. The papers were saying that Motown was being sold, and the papers proved to be right. What's wrong, though, are reports claiming that we Motowners are depressed and distraught that Barry sold his record company to MCA. I'm happy about it, and I'll tell you why. I love Barry, and I love the notion that he's got a shot at some peace and quiet to make a movie, write a book, or if he wants to, sit on a desert island and eat pineapples all day. He's earned that right. On one hand, I'm sorry that Motown didn't survive the age of the international entertainment conglomerates. Like a lot of other small fish, we got swallowed by a bigger whale, or really a bunch of bigger whales. Those labels who'd been picking off our talent for years. It was only fair. Capitalists live and die by the sword. I ain't complaining. I'm proud of what Motown did and stands for. Barry proved a black-run firm could get to the top of one of the most cutthroat fields in American business. I mean, he ain't saying nothing but facts right there. Robinson said the bigger companies have been stealing Motown acts from up under him for years, and if he can't rely on loyalty to keep his people there, he can't do anything about it. I mean, basically, why not sell it? Because you coming up here and you stealing all my peoples anyway, especially my Diana. You stole my Diana. Mistakes were made. Sometimes wrong executives were put in charge of wrong departments. And during his movie-making years, Barry moved away from record concerns. Undoubtedly, that hurt. Increasingly, though, the music business became more brutal and complex. In the late 70s and 80s, Barry's frustrations grew. For years, I'd urged him to back off. I didn't want him to become one of those ulcer-eaten executives. But it wasn't until he sold the thing that he was able to breathe a sigh of relief. And that's something only a best friend could say. I love Motown, but I love Barry more. Moreover, the sale only involved the record company. Now Motown has developed into a full-fledged enterprise, and Barry still has Joe Bett, his music publishing arm, as well as his movie division. Besides, MCA just signed Diana, and after all this time, I'm looking forward to being her label mate again. Artistically, I feel especially confident and strong these days. I'm bubbling over with enthusiasm.
You say that you love